Hello, everyone. In this case, we are going to consider as a continuation working with the whole numbers. We are going to expand this part into the compound interest. Remember, we had the simple interest before, working with the simple interest and calculation of the simple interest, which we can be given as simple interest is PNR or PRN over 100, where P is the principal, and we have got the rate that we are given at which that money is going to be increasing per year or per annum. Then we have got the number of years represented by N. So that is for our simple interest. The accumulated amount can be calculated from either of these two formulas. All right. If you are using the first formula, the I that we are seeing, this I that we see here, is representing R over 100. The annual rate that you're given, you divide it by 100, meaning to say it must be a decimal. You must work with what? With a decimal if you are to use this one. All right. So I'm not going to explain much. We had this one in our previous class. What we are going to focus on is the compound interest, where the compound interest can be used just like what we had on the simple interest. You have the amount that you start with which is the principal, the present value. The present value, the one that you start with, which is the principal. Is it the money that you are going to borrow? Is it the money that you are going to loan, which is to borrow? Is it the money that you are going to invest? It can be an investment, the money invested. It can be something that you borrow, money that you borrow, money borrowed, which is a loan. That is your P, which is the present value. And we also have the time frame for that money to increase, which is N, representing what? The time period, the number of years, the time period, meaning to say it must be in what? In years. Nothing has changed from what we had before. Nothing has changed. We have got A, which represents the accumulated amount, the money that we have as the future value. The future value, which is our accumulated amount. Accumulated amount. So this one, just as what we had in our grade 8, nothing has changed. Then we also have our arrow, which represents the compound interest rate this time, because we are dealing with what? Compound interest. So it will be called the compound interest rate, the rate at which the money is going to increase. That is the compound interest rate as a what? As a percentage. So it will be as a percentage. The R is given as a percentage. Here it was representing the simple interest rate. As we are dealing with simple interest, the R there is the simple interest rate. For compound interest, it is what? The compound interest rate. Just like what you had before, to obtain this I here as a decimal, it is simply from the R that we had, we divide by 100. That one is still one and the same. If you want to use the formula that you've got I there. So these are the two formulas that can be used to determine, using the compound interest formula, the accumulated amount or the future value from what we had. So A is equal to P into what? 1 plus I to the exponent of N. Or you can use A is equal to P into 1 plus R over 100. So as you can see, the R over 100 is same as this. This is our I there. So it is up to you. Then everything to the exponent of N. So you choose which formula to use, of which, if you are given the two formulas, you're going to choose. If you are given this one from your question paper, apply it. They can say use the given formula below, then you apply the one that you have. It is one and the same. All right, then remember that you have the principal, which is the present value. Maybe it is the money invested. Maybe it is the money that is being borrowed. So at the end, the compound interest can be determined just like what we had, the simple interest. So this time, the compound interest is going to be accumulated amount minus the present value, the one that you started with. So this is the interest at the end of the day after that period of time. What is your compound interest? What is the interest? If they're asking you about the interest, that interest, since it is under compound interest, so it'll be compound interest. Here it was what? Simple interest. And for simple interest, there was a formula to determine that. Remember, there's a formula there. So you can determine it from there. Then from what you have, there is no need for you to use any formula to determine that simple interest, because there is already a formula which is there. Unless you want to calculate the accumulated amount, after that you can calculate the simple interest, which is still the same. Simple interest will be equal to accumulated amount minus the what? The principal. It is the same interest value that you are going to obtain by using the simple interest formula. So for compound interest now, we can determine it, this one, only from what? The accumulated amount. We do not want to break this formula, guys. It's going to be complicated for many of you. So just take it as it is, like this. Compound interest, accumulated amount minus what? The present value. You are done. So that is it, guys. It's just a basic questions can be of this nature. We are given that Diego invests money invested. The money that you invest is called what? The principal. So he invested 18,000 rand for 6 years. The time in what? In years. At 15% per annum. We know this is a certain rate which must be specified. What type of rate that we are dealing with? Is it simple? Is it compound? They are saying compounded annually per year. That's a compound interest. So you know that the rate that you're dealing with is under what? A compound interest, which is being taken annually per what? Per year. Per year, per annum. Find the future value of his investment after 6 years and the interest he receives. There are two things here. There is the future value. All right, so let's take our data, our information. So the money invested is called what? The principal. He invests 18,000. It can be the money borrowed, money invested. It can be a loan. All right. And also the other thing that you need to know here, the applications of the compound interest formulas, its applications are on inflation. All right. Inflation, if you are calculating questions under inflation, you use the compound interest formula. Remember, for simple interest before, we dealt with the hire purchase, where hire purchase is used, and I said there you must use what? Simple interest for a hire purchase agreement for those short-term loans. For long-term loans, hire purchase, or for inflation. All right, so let's go back to our question. For how many years? For 6 years. The number of years, n is 6. Time period in years, that's our n. All right. At 15% per annum, 15%, the percentage is what? The R there. So we are given R. R is equal to 15%. So depending with the formula that you want to use, if you use the one with I, this one, you must determine that from R over 100 as a decimal. So let's say you want to use that I is equal to R over 100. So that's 15 over 100, which is going to give us 0.15 as a decimal. 15 divided by 100 is what? 0.15. So as a decimal, this one as a percentage, R as a percentage, compounded what? Annually. So this is per annum from compound what? From compound interest. Meaning to say compound interest formula has to be used. So the question here was find the future value, find the future value, the accumulated amount. So they are saying find what? Find A. So we are asked to determine A. And the interest he receives, what type of interest? Under compound interest. The compound interest is the one that they're asking you. The interest he receives, or you can just write interest. All right. So it's a direct question. How can we calculate A, his future value? Use the accumulated amount formula from our compound interest. You can use the first one. Let's start with the first one, then also apply the second one. So from the first one, it's P into 1 plus I to the exponent of n. So that's our accumulated amount, which is our future value. So that's A is equal to substitute P, which is 18,000. So you're given 18,000. All right. Then open bracket 1 plus. Like I said, if you're using I, you take it as a decimal. So that's 0.15 to the exponent of n, the number of years for 6 years. We are told years investment after what? 6 years. So this is to the exponent of what? Of 6. So this is it. With your calculator, you can simplify everything as long you understand this. And like I said, this is what you had before. So you actually know how to use your calculator here. 18,000 open bracket represent as it is here. So that's 1 plus 0.15, close the bracket to the exponent of what? Of 6. So that is what you're going to have. Then you can round off to 2 decimal places, which is going to be comma 09. All right, so that's going to be 41,635.09 rand. So this is what you have, like you had before from your grade 8. You know that you round off to 2 decimal places. So this is it. So it is the same answer that you were going to have. It is the same thing, same answer that you were going to obtain if you had to use the second formula, which had R over 100. So still under our compound interest, we can use the formula P into 1 plus R over 100 to the exponent of n. So that's it. So R there as a percentage. So you're going to take 18,000. All right. Open bracket 1 plus our R there is what? 15% as a percentage. So it's 15 over 100 to the exponent of what? Of 6. Our n is what? Is 6. So this is going to give us exactly the same answer as before. So you're going to obtain the same answer as before, and that was going to be 41,635.09. So this is what you're going to have as the accumulated amount for the period of what? Of 6 years. But remember, that was not the only question. It was also the interest he receives. We also need to determine the interest he receives, which is the compound interest, or you can just write interest. It's not a problem. Write compound interest. You write interest is equal to, it is in your hands, all right? So that's our interest. which is our compound interest, all right? It is equal to what? Accumulated amount minus what you started with, the principal, the present value. Future minus the present. This is your future value, the accumulated value. So you're going to take this 41,635 point what? 09 minus the present value, the one that you started with, which is given as what? 18,000. So you're going to subtract 18,000 here, 18,000 rand. So the difference is giving us what? The interest he received, or the compound interest that he received. So this is the interest received. All right, the interest received. So that was going to give us 23,000. Just use your calculator. That's 41,635.09 minus 18,000. So that was going to give us 23,635.09. All right, 635,09. So this is the interest received, what you are going to add to what you borrowed or to what you invested. This is what has been added to what you initially started with. The interest what? Received. Just like that. So questions can be direct. You just need to work out as many questions as you can. As we saw, this one was direct. We just said to apply the formula, choose the one that you are comfortable to work with. All right, let us consider another typical question to understand how exactly to apply the formulas that we are given or this information. There we have got Bradley borrows money from a bank, borrows to borrow a money, to borrow the money that is a loan that you are given is the principal. So he borrows the money from a bank in order to finance his business. The bank charges, so you're not told how much he borrows or how much he borrowed, actually. We are not told about that. But they are saying the bank charges him an interest rate of 12% per annum, compounded annually per year, compound interest that you're given. So we have got the rate of 12% per annum, and that is being compounded what? Annual, which means you're dealing with the compound interest in our case. And we have got calculate the amount he originally borrowed, since we are told that he borrows. So what is that amount that he borrowed? The money that you borrow is what? Principal, initial amount. So it is the principal that you must determine. You do not know that. But you are told that if he pays the loan in 6 years' time, the number of years, 6, the time period, with a payment of 500,000, with a payment of what? 500, accumulated together, it was 500,000 rand together from what he borrowed with the interest. The interest is already inside. So the question is calculate P. Simply use the formula, guys. Which one do you prefer? The one with I or the one with the R? Which one do you prefer? Use that one. So I'm going to take the one with R, guys. All right. You can use the one with I. It's up to you. It is actually up to you. So interest can be, the principal can be determined. So I'm going to use the one with R over 100 to the exponent of n. So guys, if you're using I, just take as it is R over 100. So that's our R, 12% over 100, which is 0.12. So if you are using this, this is the value that you're going to put in place of I there. So that is the condition. So what can I do? Substitute my values. Our R is there. All right. So everything is there, guys. A is what? 500,000. So 500,000 is equal to P. We do not have that one. It is the one that we need. Into what? 1 plus our R is 12. So that's 12 over 100 to the exponent of n, which is 6. Or you can just use as a decimal there. It's not a problem. As you can see, this part and this one is just one and the same. So I can simplify this from my calculator. So 500,000, or just divide by the bracket, it's fine, or just simplify it before what? Dividing. What is this value that we have? The bracket 1 plus 12 over what? Over 100. Just try to simplify that. So this is going to give you 1.12 to the exponent of 6. I just simplified what is inside of the bracket. The exponent, I did not even use it. Just leave it as it is. Using this exponent is going to give us a bigger value to the exponent of 6. Look what we have. 1 comma this and that. And remember, you're not supposed to round off until the final answer. So to avoid that, just take this one as a decimal. So to find P, this is a product. You're multiplying, a bracket means you're multiplying. So simply divide by what? 1.12 to the exponent of 6. Divide by this to the exponent of 6. So this can cancel. You remain with the P. It is just like 2x is equal to 6. A product. You divide by the what? The coefficient of that x. So here we are to calculate P, we divide by what is multiplying what? Our P. So that is it. That is it. From what you have, we can determine this P. All right. So taking our calculator, this is 500,000 over what? This is 50,000, not 500, but 500. All right. Everything over 1.12 to the exponent of 6. So that is going to give us this value, 253,000. All right. So it's actually 2 point what? That's going to be 0.56,56. All right. 253,315,56. So this is the principal value that you're going to have for that period. This is the money that was being borrowed. In our case, it was what? Borrowed. All right, the money borrowed. So Bradley, he borrowed what? 253,315,56. Just like that. So revision is very, very important. You play around with the formulas, which formula to use, just like that. All right. Moving on to another one, we have got 6,000 rand is invested. Is invested. The money invested is called what? The principal, the present value. So we have given P according to our information or data. That's the value of P that you are given there. The principal of what? 6,000 rand. Is invested for how many years? For 5 years. The number of years being 5, and grows to this value. That's our accumulated amount. It grows to that value, 7,500. Find the interest rate if the interest is compounded annually. We are dealing with compound interest. Find what? The interest rate. Find R there. R as a percentage. R is always as a percentage. So what can we do? We can use the formula that is R already because it's there. The formula that is R is already there. So taking that formula into consideration, it states that A is equal to P into 1 plus R over 100 to the exponent of n from our compound interest formula. So let us substitute. The accumulated amount is given as 7,500. And P, the principal, is what? 6,000 into 1 plus, we do not know the value of R. It is the one to be calculated. So meaning to say, we're just going to rewrite as it is. So this is r over what? 100 to the exponent of n, where our n is what? Is 5. So this is what we have. How can we find our r? And it is inside the bracket. There is an exponent, this and that. So we must get rid of, okay, let's start with the 6,000. 6,000 is outside of the bracket. This is a product. So you can easily divide by what? By 6,000 to get rid of it. Divide by what? 6,000, like this. So this is what you're going to have. I want you to look properly on this question. You're almost done. 7,500 over 6,000, like this. It is equal to this bracket, 1 plus r over 100 to the exponent of what? 5. Let's go back to our exponents. Remember, from your exponents in grade 8, x to the exponent of 3, it is equal to maybe 8. To get rid of this, you must have the reciprocal of that number, the exponent, which is 3. The reciprocal or the inverse of that number, the reciprocal. So you ask yourself, all right, the reciprocal of what? Of 3 is what? 1 over 3, which is 1 over 3. So you raise it to the exponent of 1 over 3, this one also to the exponent of 1 over 3 to get rid of the exponent 3. It is the same thing. The whole bracket is raised to the exponent of 5. So affected by that exponent of 5, we can find its reciprocal, which is 1 over what? 5. So you can multiply this by its reciprocal, but here you raise it to the exponent of that, 1 over 5. So what is going to happen? 5 times 1 over 5 gives us a 1. So you are just left with 1 plus r over 100, because it is a bracket to the exponent of 1, it remains as it is. 2 to the exponent of 1 is 2. So this bracket to the exponent of 1 is going to remain as 1 plus r over 100. But here, the exponent is affected. And remember, to the exponent of 1 over 5 means what? From our exponents, the fifth root, the number in the denominator is the number that you put in the what? In the root sign. So it means the fifth root. The number in the denominator is the one that you put in the root sign. So it is the fifth root of 7,500 over 6,000. Remember your laws of exponents. So this is it. What you need, yes, to find r. The reason why I'm not simplifying here is because we are dealing with financial maths. You only round off the final answer. So you must carry on these values. You can reduce them like on your calculator like this. 7,500 over what? 6,000. This here does not affect our answer, 5 over 4. You can work with 5 over 4. It is one and the same. All right? But do not like simplify, then you start to round off. Do not round off anything until the final answer. So this is it. To find the value of r, what can we do? We have got the 1 that is here. So we can get rid of this 1 to the other side. It's going to be a negative. So it means the fifth root of 7,500 over 6,000 is gonna we're gonna subtract 1 from it. From this, we're gonna subtract 1, and thus we remain with what? R over 100. So whatever that you're going to get here, to find the value of r, r over 2 is equal to 4. So you simply multiply by 2 by 2. What is in the denominator? R over 3 is equal to 6. By 3, by what? By 3, this cancels. So if it is r over 100, to get rid of this 100, you're going to multiply by 100. So this is what I'm trying to say. Whatever that you're going to get here, multiply it by what? By 100. Thus, you're going to have the value of what? Of r. So our R is as a percentage. So you can work out this bracket and see what you're going to get as a decimal. It was going to be like this. The fifth root, it is what? Shift. Then you press this X to the exponent of unknown. This one is going to give us this indication. So you can put 5 there. So it is the fifth root of what? Move inside the root sign. Put a fraction. 7,500 over what? 6,000. So this is the fifth root. Then from that fifth root of that, subtract what? A 1 minus a 1. So this is the decimal that you're going to get 0, comma this and that times 100. So it was going to be here 0, 0,045639, whatever that you have multiplied to what? To 100. That 100 that is outside. So multiplying this by 100 is going to give us what? 4,56 to 2 decimal places. I'm using what? 2 decimal places. So this is the percentage that you are going to have. So in the instruction, follow the instruction that you're given. All right. So in our case, let us use the 2 decimal place for rounding off our final answers. So as a golden rule, always round the final answers when dealing with what? Financial mathematics. It's going to be like that throughout and throughout. Make sure that you round off your final answers. So avoid simplifying before the final result. So this is it. Revise as many questions as you can. It is up to you now to work out as many questions as you can.